Welcome back to another weekly outlook video. In this video, we're going to cover the only four pairs that you need, and those are gold, EU, AC, and GJ. Last week, I had a great week on gold. We took 3 wins, and I am going to be fully transparent with you guys. I also took 1 loss and 2 break-even trades. Overall, a very successful and profitable week. Now that you guys know what's on my watch list, let's dive right in, and we're going to start off with gold and work our way down. So here we're going to start off on the weekly time frame. So on the weekly time frame, we always want to see how the previous weekly candle closed, and we have a bullish candle in control. So really bullish. I can expect this week's candle to at least go above here with the wick. Now it could engulf again. We'll see how it's looking towards the end of the week. But as of now, I'm just expecting it to go above. It doesn't have to close above, but it can. And it does have lots of momentum going up, and we are at the all-time high. So we're gonna see what's happening on the daily. So let's scale down to the daily. So on the daily, we see what this candle's in control, but because it's going off of the same candle. So this is the daily, and it's to say if I were to mark off that daily candle, it'd be going off of the same one as on the weekly. So we're only going to use the weekly as a confluence. So now that we have that, what do we have here is a weak bearish candle here. So this candle here tells me that the bears brought it all the way down, but brought it up, not wanting to engulf below this low, which is a good sign to show me that we're probably going to head up to this high. Which my target for this week for gold is 3,700. That's where I'm heading. That's where I think it's heading this week. And I currently am in a buy, and you can see this is my exact trade right here, stop loss and everything right here. So we'll see how it is when it starts. I'm expecting a little bit of a drop because we are in an internal supply, but overall on the weekly and daily is telling me that we're heading up to this high. Now, there's something here that I want to go over here before we move on to another pair, because this is really important, is knowing that this is most likely a trap. And keywords that I use are most likely, and the reason why I say most likely, because you're never certain. So you always want to think in probabilities, and this is one of those times. Is a really good example here. So if the weekly and daily are telling me we're heading to this higher high, but that contradicts the smaller time frame, which is showing me that we just made a lower low, lower high. People are selling here to go lower. But if you look right here, what happens here, let's go look at the 4-hour and the wicks here. This is a weak bearish candle, and none of these candles are engulfing bearish. So that's a good sign that there's not enough sellers to make price want to go down lower to a lower low. That tells me that is aligning with the bigger time frame daily and weekly candles. So that's confluence. So that's why I do think we are heading up here. My target is right here, 3703. So 3,700 price is a good target for this week on gold, and that's gold right there. Let's go on to EU. It's a little bit similar with the supply, and that's also in a trap, but this one does have a little bit more confluence. We're going to go straight into that. Let's go to the monthly. So we always want to start top down analysis. So on the monthly, we're heading to this supply, right? So now if I look at the candles here, and we look at the last, we only have to look at like these 4 right here. This candle is really bullish. So this is the candle in control. Now, what do we notice about the other monthly candle is that this candle didn't engulf below this one. So therefore, this one is in control. We had a lot of bear power, but overall, we're heading to these highs up here. Okay. So that's all the information we can get from the monthly. Now let's move to the weekly. Now this is the first confluence, the monthly candle in control, telling me that we're heading up to this bigger time frame supply up here. Okay, so now we're going to go to the weekly, and we're going to look at this candle in control. We have a weekly candle in control, and then we have another weak bearish candle here showing me that, hey, this candle's in control, and so is the monthly. So this is most likely a sweep. And what you can tell by this wick is that there was more buyers than sellers in this area and in this candle, by the time it closed the end of this week, right? And then we have multiple candles here. Now there's just leaving a lot of liquidity above these highs. So that also tells me we're probably heading to most likely to this supply, right? So that's what I can get out of this weekly. We have the weekly candle in control. and we have this weak bearish candle that's showing me it's most likely a liquidity sweep. Moving on to the daily. On the daily, this is a really key information right here. And right now we'll go over this trap, which is very similar to gold. But before that, I want to mention this momentum. Momentum is key here. So knowing how it came down below the previous weekly low, and then the way it comes back super bullish, and we retrace really deep into the impulse. So look, if this is the impulse right here, so we have a swing high, swing low, and look, we're almost to the 100%. So everyone who's selling here is selling to make a lower low. Now, that's the trap. The trap is that it's supposed to look like a sell to come down lower, maybe to this demand or even lower, right? But the bigger time frames, which in this case are the weekly, engulfing, and then also the monthly, previous monthly low that I marked off, right? So we have those two candles. Those are two separate confluences, right? And then we have the confluence of how it came after it swept this low is another confluence. This momentum, the momentum was greater than what the momentum was sweeping below this low. That's the third confluence. So that to me is a dead giveaway that this is most likely a trap, and we're most likely heading to this supply. So now here I'm looking to buy here at this demand. So we go to my 1 hour. Actually, let's go to the 4 hour. I'm looking to buy in this area right here. My stop loss would go below here. I'm targeting just the tip of that supply. Now, if it doesn't come down here, and for this trade specifically, I'm only looking for buys here. Higher high, higher low, higher high. Something like this. If it doesn't come down here and just decides to break structure, which if it goes above this area, it would be a break of structure. So here we do a break of structure and look for a buy. If that happens. If not, we're going to look to buy over there. Okay, so that's it for EU. Let's go down to AC. All right, so as always go to the bigger time frame, and I like to start on the weekly. So this one's very clear. Lots of momentum coming into my weekly supply. So we have a supply here, and look, these are my key levels. We are rejecting currently off of this resistance, and you can see resistance, support, and now acting as a resistance here. We do have a very bullish candle on the weekly, so this could close bullish. We'll see how this reacts here on the opening. So I'll show you guys my buying area that I'm looking for here on AC. So if we go to the daily, we also do have a daily candle in control. Now this is my smaller time frame demand. Which one we're going to go to it? Okay, so we're going to go right here on the minute 30. You can clearly see this demand. So look, we have a higher high, higher low. We have a beautiful impulse right here. Really nice momentum coming up. We do have that initial reaction here at this resistance here. That's leading us to the pullback. Now we can potentially buy right here in this demand. This is what I'm looking for at the start of the week. If it violates this area, then I might look to sell, or if it goes above, just look to buy again. And my next target is going to be this resistance. And yeah, that's the only resistance for now, given that it's so bullish on the daily and the weekly. Last week I did give out a free signal. I entered here, stop loss was below here, target here, TP did smash. This was a free signal that was given on my Discord community. Here, let me pull that up for you guys. So real quick, right here you can see I said stop loss, entry, enter at your own discretion, of course. I'm just here to really give ideas. My Discord is mainly to give trading ideas and an outlook on what I'm looking to buy or sell. And if you guys decide to enter, that's your own choice. I hope it goes good. Join my Discord and you guys can follow for the trades that I'm taking. Okay, that's everything for AC. One last pair we do have to go over is GJ. GJ I am liking. Because it looks like we are about to break above this area. We have been ranging in between this support and resistance. So we're going to go to the weekly, of course, on the bigger time frame that I like. So internally, what did we do? We made a higher high, higher low, potential higher low. Well, we technically made a higher high with this wick, but because it's still reacting around this area, I'm not gonna classify it as a higher high until we, close higher above up here, right? So on the weekly, I do think we're heading up to this high. So keep in mind, on weekly, I only use it for directional bias. Everything else is confirmed with the daily and below. So we go to the daily, we see that we have bullish structure, higher high. Did we want to come down to this higher low? It's not looking like it. So right now there's two things that can happen. We can break above this high, clear it, like really clear it, and then we can retrace and then we can buy. If you're looking for a swing, you can target this high. I don't want to hold for that long because I'll have to hold for weeks. I don't want to do that, so I'll only target the internal highs. So if I were to buy here, then I would target this high. That's just me, or even a resistance or psychological number. I don't really see, like, there's a minor resistance here that you can maybe target. So 204 would be one of my targets, something like that, or even above here. So that's if it makes a higher high. If it pulls back, I would not counter trend trade here. Some people would look at it like this and sell, right? We make structure downwards, coming to this demand. I'm not looking for that sell. I'm only looking for buys on GJ if I'm waiting for the breakout to be clear above or come down into this demand and look for a buy here. So either or, buy here after it makes a higher high or buy down here. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, like and subscribe, and even comment if your analysis is aligning up with mine. I'm curious to see what you guys say. Other than that, you guys have a great trading week, and I'll catch you in the next video.